Former Vice President Joe Biden bounces back.
The outbreak of coronavirus spreads around the globe.
So, where's the snow?
And 62-year-old man with abs of steel sets a new planking record. Good morning, Lancaster Catholic.
I'm Maria Young.
And I'm Miles Durrett.
Today is Friday, March 6th, B-Day, and this is your Week in Review.
Super Tuesday produced a big shakeup in the Democratic presidential contest. Joe Biden went from being down and out to suddenly being the front runner. The former vice president won 9 of the 14 states up for grabs. Bernie Sanders was second. Now it's a two-man race. Elizabeth Warren, Mike Bloomberg, Pete Buttigieg, and Amy Klobuchar all ended their campaigns. All but Warren immediately endorsed Biden.
The coronavirus outbreak is showing no signs of slowing down. More than 130 cases have been confirmed across the nation. By the time of this recording, 11 deaths from the disease are reported in this country. There are currently no confirmed cases in Pennsylvania. Now, how can we protect ourselves from the disease? The morning show talked to our nurse, Mrs. Herman.
You pretty much want to take the same precautions as you do every day as far as with protecting yourself against the flu. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Very important. Protect your coughs and your sneezes with a Kleenex or using your elbow. If you wake up, you're feeling sick, you want to stay home. You don't want to bring those germs into school.
For the time being, the Diocese of Harrisburg has suspended drinking wine from communal cups during communion, and it's dropping any handshakes or hugs during the offering of peace.
Looking ahead, the future of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics is up in the air. The Olympic Committee said the decision will probably be made around May. And Japan is definitely still planning on hosting despite the spread of coronavirus.
Nearly 2 years after a pair of Warwick students were killed in a car crash right outside their school, the driver of the car will stand trial on criminal charges. The lawyer for Deborah Slaymaker, Walker, argued that she suffered a seizure before the accident. A county court judge denied the request to throw out the charges. The trial is scheduled for May 4th.
This week, Uber announced it was upping security for its passengers. Matt Flynn explains why.
Uber is now offering riders a 4-digit code ensuring that they get into the right car. Here's how it works. Uber sends you a PIN code and you give it to the driver. The driver punches it into his computer, and if everything checks out, you're good to go. This update follows the death of a 21-year-old college student in Columbia, South Carolina. She was murdered after she got into the car of a man who was impersonating an Uber driver. This isn't the first time Uber has had these problems. In Los Angeles, women have filed a number of lawsuits claiming they were assaulted by men posing as Uber drivers. Uber says it's trying to ensure the safety of all of its users. I'm Matt Flynn.
Remember our story about the most beautiful man, Robert Pattinson? He is now going to be the new Batman. A trailer for the movie revealed what Pattinson's batsuit will look like. We also have a snapshot of his iconic motorcycle. I think it's really cool.
What's also really cool is the use of computer-generated images in movies. Seth Hackman says a good example of this is the new version of the movie classic Call of the Wild that hits theaters this week.
Viewers are going wild over the canine star in this Disney remake. Buck, the St. Bernard, isn't a real dog. He's a computer-generated image played by a former Cirque du Soleil performer. The visual effects producer says they used CGI to portray emotion and behaviors from the canine because they were almost impossible to get right with the real dog. He says that with this technology you can craft the performance, but some moviegoers say they missed the real emotional connection between the actors and the live animals. But with the success of CGI animals in the Jungle Book movie and Sonic the Hedgehog, it's a trend that will probably continue in Hollywood. I'm Seth Hackman.
The movie Hidden Figures was about Katherine Johnson and other African-American women who worked for NASA in the early days of spaceflight. These women were key in developing formulas to send astronauts like John Glenn into orbit. Johnson died this week at the age of 101.
The spring equinox is March 19th. That's the earliest in over a century, but it already feels like spring, which has everyone wondering, are we ever going to get a snow day from school? Rachel Hauser has the story.
With spring quickly approaching, many people have been wondering if we'll go the entire winter without a snowstorm. We have had only 6 inches of snow since December. The yearly average for snow in Lancaster is 27.4 inches. That's almost 4 times more. That means we've had the least amount of snow since 1972 and 1973. Forecasters say every decade seems to have a very mild winter like this, but don't count on your daffodils just yet. March came in like a lamb and may go out like a lion, meaning there could be some cold days on the horizon by the end of March. I'm Rachel Hauser.
This week, Wendys jumped into the breakfast wars. Isaac Schwartz has the story.
This week, Wendy's launched its new breakfast menu. It consists of 9 sandwiches, including a morning version of its famed Baconator. There are some chicken and biscuit sandwiches, too. There's also a new blend of coffee, an iced frosty Cheeto, and new sides such as potato wedges. Wendy's says, unlike those from McDonald's and Burger King, each of its sandwiches is prepped with a fresh, hand-cracked egg that may appeal to customers looking for something more high quality. The head chef at Wendy's describes the new offerings as brunch on a bun. Other fast food chains fought back to be your go-to morning choice. Both Burger King and McDonald's launched a 2 for $4 deal featuring its breakfast sandwiches. I'm Isaac Schwartz.
So Miles, how long can you hold a plank?
About 5 minutes.
That's very impressive. Well, this will put us all to shame. This 62-year-old former U.S. Marine planked for 8 hours and 15 minutes. As if that wasn't enough, he finished the event by doing 75 push-ups. After breaking the record, Hood announced his retirement from plank record attempts. Can you blame him?
That's your week in review. Have a great weekend, Crusaders.